What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here with a new time travel movie called See You Yesterday, premiere on Netflix tomorrow. I decided to do my top 10 favorite time travel movies. I, I've every time I watch a time travel movie, it always makes me wish that time traveling was real. You know, like that's actually one gimmick from any films that I love to that I kind of wish was for real life. I mean, imagine going back either back to time or in the future or something. That would be cool to see. But there's been some really cool time travel based movies over the years. So that being said, here's my 10 favorite time travel movies. Coming in at number 10 is The Butterfly Effect. Now in this, it stars Ashton Kutcher as a college student named Evan Treborn, who's afflicted with headaches, and they are like so painful that he frankly blacks out. So like while unconscious, Evan is able to travel back in time to difficult moments in his life, in his childhood, and he can also alter the past for friends like Kelly, played by Amy Smart, who was molested by her father, named played by Eric Stoltz. But changing the past can drastically alter the present, because you know how that usually works. And he ends up finding himself in nightmarish and alternate realities, including one where he's locked away in prison and all. This is a really different role for Ashton Kutcher, because Ashton Kutcher is usually best known for comedic roles like That 70s Show, Dude, Where's My Car, and loads of other stuff. But this is actually this was a very darker role for Ashton Kutcher, and I thought he was. I think it's probably one of Ashton Kutcher's best performances. He's really terrific. I mean, it's one of his darkest roles. I don't think he ever done a darker movie since The Butterfly Effect, and it's a really good one. The first Butterfly Effect is good. They also did a few sequels, which you could just pass on. The sequels are horrible. But the first Butterfly Effect is really cool. I mean, if you guys never had a chance to check out the Butterfly Effect, do yourself a favor, give that one a go. I think you'll enjoy it. Coming in at number 9 is Project Almanac. Now, this is a really cool film. I mean, it's where, of course, a film where high schoolers end up making a time machine, and they go back to the next day, their alternate timeline, and strange things ends up happening as well. The movie is from the same director who gave us that recent Power Rangers movie. This was his first feature film before he did Power Rangers, and in it stars actor Johnny Weston as a character named David Raskin, who's a high school science nerd who dreams of going to MTI. And so when his friends, played by Sam Lerner and Alan Evangelista, find that his late father's plans for a temporal displacement device. And so, when they finally get the device working, the teenagers end up jumping at the opportunity to manipulate time in their favors, and straight, of course, it's kind of like the movie Chronica, but instead of them getting superpowers, it's time travel. That's what I kind of always consider this movie similar to. This is probably one of my favorite found footage movies in recent years. It's really good. It's fun. It's entertaining. I mean, I was really surprised of how good this movie was, because when I saw the trailers, I was like, oh, really? This is another just lame found footage film? But then the movie came, and I thought it was terrific. It's a really fun ride. The times where they go back to time was pretty cool to watch. It's really good. If you guys never seen Project Almanac by now, do yourself a favor, check it out. It's really good. And I kind of still wish they went ahead and did a sequel to this, because I would love to have seen maybe an origins of the time travel machine, or I would love to have seen what happens again after the events of this, because it'll be cool to watch. But yeah, Project Almanac is it's a really good film. I mean, it's not like Chronica good. I mean, I probably still prefer Chronica, but Project Almanac is still a really good film. All right, coming in at number 8 is the Terry Gilliam movie 12 Monkeys. Now here you got Bruce Willis as a character named James Cole who like learns the hard way after traveling back to time, and he ends up being in prison in 2030s, and he's recruited for a mission that will send him back to the 1990s. And so like once there, he's supposed to gather information about a nascent plot that's about to exterminate the vast majority of the world's population. But like aside, you got a maniac named Jeffrey, played wonderfully by Brad Pitt, who like pretty much gets a little in the way of the corporation, and you also got Madeline Stowe as a medical gatekeeper named Catherine Raleigh, who's it's really good. Like it's a cool time travel film. You know, it's probably one of Brad Pitt's coolest roles. Like he plays a psychopath maniac in this movie. He does some really harsh stuff that you would not expect Brad Pitt to ever do. Terry Gilliam directed this. He did a cool job at directing. Bruce Willis. I mean, he's no stranger for time travel because I got another Bruce Willis movie in my list. Really good film. I mean, they also did like a TV show, which I saw, but I'm not really all that into the TV show version. I know there's actually lots of people who did like the TV show, and that's cool, but I really couldn't get into it. But the movie version is much better. If you guys never seen 12 Monkeys, you know, directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Brad Pitt, Bruce Willis, Madeline Stowe, really interesting interesting time travel film. Alright, coming in at number 7 is the comedy Hot Tub Time Machine. Now, it's pretty much about like four pals played by John Cusack, Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, and Clark Duke, who are like who decide to have like they pretty much decide to go in like a hot tub, and all of a sudden it turns out that the hot tub is a hot tub time machine. So like they end up waking up in 1986, and they gotta get back to 2010. It's a really funny film. I mean, a few other people in that like this had a pretty interesting supporting cast as well. Like other people in this included like Chevy Chase was in this. Sebastian Stan was even in this. You also had Chris Ben Glover, a couple of '80s actors, which makes sense for a movie that where they travel to the '80s. You'll expect '80s actors to be in this. Lizzie Kaplan was in this. Charlie McDermott from The Middle fame. William Zabka from The Karate Kid fame. You also had Thomas Lennon in this. Really funny film. I mean, next year this movie turns 10, by the way. So, gonna make you guys feel old for a second. And I also really like the sequel. I know lots of people didn't really care much for the sequel, but I think the second one was good. Not as good as the first film, but I still quite enjoyed the sequel. And like their adventures in the '80s were pretty fun to watch. And if you guys never had a chance to check out Hot Tub Time Machine, it's a really funny time travel film. Coming in at number 6 is X-Men: Days of Future Past. Now, here you got Peter Dinklage as a character named Bolivar Trask, who pretty much convinced that the mutants pose a threat to humanity. So he develops the Sentinels, who are like robotic weapons that can detect a mutant gene and zero on the person. And so, like in the 21st century, the Sentinels, have evolved into a highly effective killing machine. And Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, ends up volunteering to go back in time and rally the past X-Men to help change history and like save the future. So he pretty much travels back to the '80s and all. It's really cool. Like the X-Men have done time travel tons of times, I mean, most recent Deadpool 2, that's who Cable is, a time traveling character. Not Deadpool, a Cable, I meant to say, but anyway. Yeah, X Men Days of Future Past is probably my favorite out of the recent X Men movie. Like, Deadpool side. I mean, out of the X Men movies with the new cast with Jay McAvoy in them, this is probably my favorite out of the recent ones. It's pretty fun. It's entertaining. Peter Dinklage was great. James McAvoy was terrific as Professor X. You also had Patrick Stewart in this. Some pretty good cast members. Really fun, entertaining, and I'm actually really looking forward to see what they're gonna go with the Dark Phoenix. That should be pretty interesting as well. Of course, Sophie Turner actually made her debut as Jean Grey for Days of Future Past. I thought she was terrific as Jean Grey. Yeah, Days of Future Past is definitely a really good one. And around this time, Dark Phoenix comes out. I'll probably rank my favorite X Men movies as well. So that's a video I'll be posting soon. The week when Dark Phoenix comes out, of course. All right, coming in at number 5. Well, speaking of Bruce Willis, my number 5 favorite is Looper. Now, here you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a character named Joe, who's like who's pretty much like a hitman who pretty much goes to time to kill his own self, which is played by Bruce Willis. So kind of Bruce Willis is playing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, really, like an older version. Yeah, this is a really fun film. It's directed by Ryan Johnson, who, yes, he did Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but I thought this movie was pretty fun. It was pretty entertaining. Emily Blunt was really great in this. I liked Emily Blunt here. It had some cool action, some cool time travel moments. Really awesome film. If you guys never seen Looper by now, check it out. It's really fun. And I still wish we had got you to see a sequel, but I don't know if we're ever gonna see one. Alright, now my number 4 favorite is Avengers Endgame. So there could be a good chance I might spoil some stuff, so just either pause this moment or just fast forward or whatever. Anyway, alright, in Avengers Endgame, they of course, like, to be honest, I was really wondering if I should even add this in my top 10 list because there was going to be spoilers territories with this, but that's pretty much how they were able to get the stones. Is to time travel from alternate universe to retrieve the stones, and just that will how they'll stop Thanos and save humanity and all. And I mean, when they like, I actually kind of figured that they were gonna have time travel moments. To be honest, yeah. And I thought it probably sounded like a little dumb. But you know what? The time travel stuff, it worked really well. And of course, Avengers Endgame, I just simply love this movie. I saw it about 2 times. I think I maybe see it a third time, not sure, but I really love this movie so much. It's just fun, it's entertaining. To me, it's actually my favorite movie of the year so far. It's that great. I just simply love this movie, and the time travel stuff actually really works well. You had a couple of people go to the Avengers timeline. You had a couple of characters going to the Guardians of the Galaxy timeline, and I guess you could say it felt like a callback to the other Marvel films, which I thought was pretty cool to watch. And yeah, Avengers Endgame is it's a great time travel film, and this definitely is considered as a time travel movie because they go back in time and to get the stone. So if you do best time travel films, Avengers Endgame could definitely be in that list. All right, coming in at number 3 is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now here you got Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter as best high school buddies who who pretty much are starting a band. So, but like, however, they are about to fail their history class, which means Ted will be sent to military school. So like, they end up receiving the help from Rufus, played by the late great George Carlin, who's a traveler from a future where their band is the foundation for a perfect society. So like, with the use of Rufus's time machine, Bill and Ted travel to a various point in history, returning with so they could get pretty much important information. So they were able to pass their history exam. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure it's an '80s classic right there. They go to time to meet tons of cool historical figures like Napoleon, Joan of Arc. Yeah, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The movie got released in 1989, and it still holds up. The movie actually turns dirty this year, and it's great. It's a great buddy comedy between Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Yeah, also Bogus Journey was pretty good too, but I think I kind of prefer Excellent Adventure over this one, over Bogus Journey. And of course, it's finally happening. Bill and Ted 3 will be coming out in 2020, which I still should probably wait till I see it to believe it, but I'm still actually pretty pumped for it. So it's gonna be curious to see what where Bill and Ted 3 is gonna go. Well, that being said, I really love this movie, and it's a pretty of course the phone booth is where is a time travel thing they use. It seems like boosts are thing like people have a thing of using boosts as time travelers. I mean, Doctor Who, Bill and Ted. I mean, what is it with phone boosts and time travels? I mean, I tell you one thing: for Bill and Ted 3, they gotta rethink of time travel because there ain't no more phone boosts around anymore. But anyway, yeah, Bill and Ted is definitely terrific. All right, coming in at number 2 is of course the Terminator. Now here, of course, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, who travels from 2029 to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor and sent to protect Sarah is Kyle Reese, played by Michael Biehn, who pretty much is who's the coming of the Skynet, who's like an artificial intelligence system that will spark a nuclear holocaust. And so, like, Sarah is a target because Skynet knows that that her unborn child will lead the fight against them. And I mean, Terminator is a time travel film. He goes to from 2019. Wait, not 2000. From 2029, I meant to say, to 1984. So this is pretty much a whole time travel film, and pretty much lots of the Terminators are time travel based movies. I mean, it was directed by James Cameron, of course, who directed only the first two. Linda Hamilton played Sarah Connor. She was terrific. Yeah, Terminator it's an 80s sci-fi classic right there. And of course, we got the new Terminator movie, Dark Fate, coming out this November, which I cannot wait to see. But if you guys still never seen the first Terminator, or even Terminator 2, or even some of the other ones, give them a go. I think the first two Terminators are the best, though. Okay, my number 1 favorite time travel movie of all time is it's kind of obvious. It's pretty much in the thumbnail. My number 1 favorite time travel movie of all time is Back to the Future. I mean, the DeLorean, how could you not... If you make a time travel movie, how could you not add Back to the Future in this list? I mean, I think it's the best time travel movie of all time. It's terrific. It's a classic. You've got Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, the great Christopher Lloyd as Dr. Emmett Brown, had Crispin Glover in this, Leah Thompson was in this, directed by Robert Zemeckis. I really love this movie, and I also like part 2 and 3 as well, but the first film's the best. I mean, come on. This is I think this is like the Godfather of time travel movies. Kind of like how Godfather is like for gangster movies, and this is the Godfather of time travel films. It's a terrific film. It's one of my favorite movies of the 80s. This is a movie I could probably watch over and over and never get bored of. I just simply love this movie. Of course, it's kind of weird because he actually ends up going back to time and pretty much seeing like a younger version of his mother, and his mother ends up being smitten with Marty. So that part always was a little creepy to watch, but still, it's a really awesome movie. It's just really terrific. Of course, the dance scene is iconic. If he ends up traveling to the 1950s, then the sequel, he ends up traveling to 2015. Then the third one, he ends up traveling to the Western era. This is probably one of my favorite trilogies as well. It's the best. If you guys still never seen any of the Back to the Future movies, do yourself a favor, watch them. They're just classics. If I ever the one car I'd love to the one fictional car I'd love to own would be that DeLorean. How cool would it be to go back to time or either the future or the past or whatever? It would be cool to see. But anyway, yeah, definitely check out the Back to the Future movies if you guys never. To me, they are the best time travel movies of all time. And Back to the Future still holds up. They're not movies that they still hold up today. You can still watch them and still get into them. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Butterfly Effect. 9, Project Almanac. 8, 12 Monkeys. 7, Hot Tub Time Machine. 6, X-Men Days of Future Past. 5, Looper. 4, Avengers Endgame. 3, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. 2, The Terminator. 1, Back to the Future. Some other ones I probably could have added are the classic The Time Machine, which got released in 1960. I probably could have added that one. Let's see. Most recent Happy Death Day to You could count as a time travel film. Let's see. Time Traveler's Wife, Safety Not Guaranteed, About Time, Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams one that is, Man in Black 3 is a good one, Donnie Darko, Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's kind of a guilty pleasure there, Star Trek Voyage Home, The Lake House, Terminator 2, Groundhog Day, Peggy Sue Got Married, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Time Bandits, which was also directed by Terry Gilliam. Some pretty good stuff here. Let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite time travel movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.